What's up, guys? It's Ethan here, and I am at the trailhead for the Devil's Garden Trail in Arches National Park. Beautiful trailhead here at the end of the park road. And before I started the hike, I'm filling up my water bottles right now, doing some last minute preps before I start the hike. But before I started, I just wanted to show you a rare occurrence at one of the most popular trailheads in one of the most popular national parks in the United States. This park gets, I believe, close to 3 million visitors a year. And this is, I believe, the second most popular trail to hike in the park after Delicate Arch. And what I'm showing you is an empty parking lot. The very large parking lot here at the trailhead for Devil's Garden, and I am the only one here. How crazy is that? All right, well, good morning again, everybody. It is about 7:30 in the morning right now. It's a Wednesday and it is December. So that is why there's no one else here. But whatever the reason is, man, that is so cool. I've only been to Arches once before, actually, and the last time I was here I actually didn't even hike the Devil's Garden Trail. I actually did pretty much every single trail in the park other than the Devil's Garden Trail. And the reason for that was because when I got to this trailhead, not only were there no parking spaces, but there was also a line of cars waiting to grab any parking spaces that people were pulling out of. So it was just like, it was insanity, and I just didn't feel like dealing with it. So I cannot tell you how ecstatic I am that I pulled up to this trailhead and I didn't see a single other car. I mean, that is just so cool. This is absolutely one of the coolest hikes in Arches National Park. If you do the entire loop and all the little side trails, it ends up being about 8 miles total. And there are some tougher sections with some elevation gain and rock scrambling, but a lot of it's also flat and pretty easy terrain. But this trail does go to 8 arches, including the really famous landscape arch. It is very cold right now. It's only about 12 degrees. Not much wind, which is nice, but man, is it cold right now. So I'm dressed warm and I'm ready to have an amazing time and experience some solitude in a place where you normally don't get it. So pretty much immediately after starting this hike, you see the turnoff for Pine Tree Arch and Tunnel Arch, and then it says this way to Landscape and Double O Arch. So that way is the main trail. This is just a little side trail, and I am definitely going to take it so I can see the 2 arches that are down here. All right, there's arch number 1, Tunnel Arch. Not the most impressive of arches, but still cool nonetheless. I like how it's basically just a big hole in the rock there in the side of the cliff. But yeah, this little spur trail just kind of dead ends right here. And I'm going to be hiking back that way and heading over to the other arch, Pine Tree Arch, I think it's called. All right, and after another short hike, here's the second and, in my opinion, much more impressive Pine Tree Arch. Really cool. I like how you get that view through the arch. That's pretty awesome. And they do have a sign here to make it clear to you that this is the end of the trail, so they clearly don't want you to keep going through the arch. I'm sure a lot of people do, but it looks like the park doesn't want you doing that. All right, I'm back on the main trail, heading over to Landscape Arch now. Without a doubt the most popular arch on this hike. Matter of fact, I would say that a vast majority of people who hike the Devil's Garden Trail only do the hike to Landscape Arch and then turn around there, which I think is like a little under 2 miles round trip if you just want to do landscape and nothing else. And man, I just cannot get over how like quiet and peaceful it is out here. This is like truly a rare occurrence in Arches National Park. I mean, this is the kind of trail where during like the peak tourist season, this trail probably gets 300-400, if not more, people that hike it every day. That number probably goes up to like 600 or 700 on the weekends. And then right now, it's just me. It's just me. And it is awesome. All right, well, first view of the famous Landscape Arch. And that is definitely one hell of an arch. It's one of the biggest in the world. And I did read somewhere once that they are predicting that this arch is going to collapse in the next like 30 to 40 years. So if you want to see it, better get out here soon. I mean, I guess with 30 to 40 years, you do have some time, but still. And here's some info on Landscape Arch. So this is also where the trail splits. You can see a they got a little map here. So I'm gonna be continuing this way past Landscape. I'll take the little spur trail here to Navajo and Partition Arch, and then head over to Black Arch, Double O Arch, take the spur trail over to Dark Angel, and then from there, that's where the primitive trail starts, and I'll be hiking over, take the little spur trail to Private Arch, and then continue down the primitive trail and meet back up here, and then head back the way I came to the trailhead. And you can see the mileage here. It says main trail to Double O Arch is a little just over a mile, and then the primitive trail is 2.1 miles. So, and like I said, that's Double O Arch right there. So like from where we are now to Double O Arch is 1.1 miles, and then adding in Dark Angel will make it 1.6, and then adding in Navajo and Partition Arch will probably make it like a little over 2 miles. But yeah, let's go get a closer look at Landscape Arch. All right, well, I'm right below Landscape Arch. I'm not sure if the trail takes you any closer than this or if there's like a spur trail, but just in case there's not, I wanted to give you a little shot of it right now. And I mean, I just cannot get over this. It is so crazy that, I mean, I am standing right next to easily the second most popular spot to hike to in this park. I mean, one of the most crowded hikes in the entire Moab area, in the entire state of Utah for that matter. And there is literally no one here. It's just me. That is just so insane. Oh, look at that. That is so cool. There's the moon up there. That is really awesome. And it does look like you get a little closer. Okay, well, this is the end of the line here, as close as they let you get to landscape arch. And there it is up there. Absolutely spectacular looking. And I mean, yeah, you can see, like, especially right there. I mean, wow, that is that does look like it could collapse for sure. So I can definitely understand what they mean when they say that this arch isn't going to be here in 30 to 40 years. Yeah, that is really cool. And so now I'm going to be heading over to the next two arches, which are Navajo and Partition. So I'm pretty sure I'm still on the trail, not 100% positive. The trail got really primitive after leaving landscape arch. I'm pretty sure I'm going the right way, but I'm honestly not 100% positive of that. But I guess we'll see. There's no real indication that I'm still on a trail, so yeah. We'll see what happens up. Well, that is one hell of a view right there. Getting a perfect look down to all through the area I was just hiking through. All the cool rock formations, landscape arch right over there, and the Sal Mountains in the background. Lots of beautiful 11 and 12,000 foot peaks back there. And it looks like that's another arch right there. Not sure what that one's called, but I know that it's either Navajo or Partition, and I'll be hiking around to those pretty soon here. But wow, it is absolutely incredible out here. And it definitely feels like it's starting to warm up. I mean, it's still definitely very cold, but I think it's gone up to like 16, 17 degrees, something like that now. All right, well, here's the split off from the main trail to go to Partition and Navajo Arch. Which I will definitely be checking out. This trail is definitely pretty well marked. I mean, obviously it would be. It's a extremely popular trail, but it's just so weird being out here and seeing all the signs and the, you know, really good trail markings and all the stuff, all the indications that this is like a very busy, popular trail, but then like there's nobody out here. I'm sorry, I know I've brought that up like a million times, but I will never be able to get over that. Just pulling up to that parking lot, you know, a parking lot with like over 100 spots in it, and I'm the only car there. All right, so it looks like Partition Arch goes to the left, so I'll head over to Navajo first. All right, well, made it to Navajo Arch, and it's definitely not your typical looking arch. More of like a little like cave or something like that. But there it is. Kind of cool that you can just walk right under it like this. That's pretty cool. There you go. That is Navajo Arch. And now time to head over to Partition. All right, well, here is Partition Arch. This one looks way cooler than Navajo Arch, actually. This is definitely the one that I saw from the other side. Yeah, wow. Look at the view from the other side of this arch. That is super cool. That is awesome. That's a good view. Really cool. I'm standing right under the arch right now. That was actually right down there is where the trail was. Coming up from Landscape Arch. Like, Landscape is probably right just out of view right down there. Yeah, that is really cool. I mean, as far as arches go, this isn't like the most impressive arch ever, but the view definitely makes it worth the little side trip coming over here. Let me see if I can get a better view of the arch itself. Yeah, there we go. That's cool. Awesome. So doing both of these arches adds about, I think, another 0.7 miles total. Which you definitely, I mean, I think you definitely should, if you're coming out here, you should definitely do all this, almost all, if not all, the side trails, because it looks like the majority of the arches that are on the Devil's Garden Trail are not actually, you can't actually see them from the main trail. You have to do these little side hikes to get to most of them. And thus far, I have not been to one where I don't think it was worth the trip. All right, well, I'm back on the main trail again, and my next two destinations will be the Double O Arch and the Dark Angel Rock Formation. And it looks like the Double O Arch is pretty much just like right off of the main trail. Dark Angel is a half a mile off of the main trail, so that'll be a nice little side trip. And then after seeing both of those, then I'll be on the official primitive trail for just over 2 miles until it rejoins with the main trail back at Landscape Arch. And I'm getting a nice view down to some pinnacles down there. Once again, the trail is getting a little difficult to follow. I'm pretty sure it goes right down here. Could be wrong about that. I saw a rock heron back that way and haven't seen one for a little while, but the rock herons aren't really consistent on this trail anyway. That's like the only one I've seen. And I gotta tell you, it is so cold right now. The wind's picking up down here a little bit, and I mean, it just feels like brutal. So I really hope I'm going the right way right now. I have like absolutely no indication to tell me whether this is the right way to go or not. I guess I'll find out at some point. All right, well, this is a truly epic viewpoint right here, but I am not on the trail. I lost the trail. I just saw that there's a sign up there. And I mean, that's crazy because there was I guess rock cairns just can't, I mean, whoever built that rock cairn over there, I can pretty much guarantee you they were not with the National Park Service, because there's a rock cairn over there that makes it seem like the trail goes down that way and like starts heading down into that valley down there. And that's not even close to where the trail goes. The trail is up there on top of that bench. So I'm gonna need to scramble my way up there to rejoin with the trail, I suppose. But hey, getting an epic view either way. And boy, is it cold. I'll tell you, it is, it's crazy how cold it is. I mean, it's so weird looking out into the, the Utah desert, and, a place where, in your mind, you're imagining it being like, really hot, and it is freezing cold right now. All right, well, from up here on the actual trail, you get one hell of a view of the Sal Mountains. That's so cool. And I'll tell you, I was way off. I mean, I was like way down there. I mean, I was really like, I was getting close to like going down into that valley. And boy, was I way off of where the actual trail goes. Because not only does it go up on top of this bench, but down there, there's a sign that shows it cuts to the left. But sometimes you have to do that, when you're looking and you're like, this doesn't seem right, stop and check, because a lot of times your gut feeling is I mean, that means something. So anyway, glad I checked, got back on the real trail, getting some epic views, and about to continue heading on towards Double O Arch. All right, well, you take a very, very short detour off of the main trail here, and you can get to the Black Arch Overlook. So check that out. And there it is down there, right there. So, I mean, it's pretty far off in the distance, but they do call it an overlook. That's pretty cool looking. And then there was another sign right up there that was showing Double O Arch is that way. And I'm gonna put my gloves back on because it is so cold right now. I mean, it is crazy how cold it is right now. The wind started picking up a little bit now that I'm on a higher part of the trail, so that has just made it absolutely brutal. Man, this is quite the epic view from up here. I'm getting really close to Double O Arch, which is the pretty much the furthest back on the Devil's Garden loop that you can go. And thank God that wind died down, because that was like excruciating. And I would like to point out that I still have not seen a single other person since starting this hike. All right, well, this is one hell of a view from up here on this bench. So down there, that's the namesake of this trail. That's called the Devil's Garden. And it looks like there's a little arch down there. Not really sure which one that is, but I'm sure we'll get closer to it. And then there's another arch right there. some really cool rock formations over there, and I believe that is the Dark Angel over there, which I think I'm gonna call it good seeing it from here, honestly. I'm not gonna hike all the way over there just because it is so freaking cold right now. Like, I really would honestly rather just kind of go check out the last few arches and then start heading back towards the trailhead. But man, look at these views. That is just absolutely epic. That is insane. There are the Sal Mountains over there. I mean, that is so crazy. Wow. I think I might hang out up here for a minute. It is really cold, but I'll bundle up a little bit more, hang out here for a minute, because this is so cool. All right, well, what's going on, guys? So right now I'm at the end of the very short little trail to the Fiery Furnace Overlook here in Arches National Park. And you may be wondering why I'm here and not still on the Devil's Garden Trail. And basically what ended up happening is that after I recorded that last little clip of video when I was on that when I was up on that rock bench and overlooking everything, my phone just died. I mean, I don't know what happened. I think my phone just got cold and it drained the battery really quick. But when I recorded that last clip of video, my phone was still at like 65% battery. And then I pulled my phone out of my pocket like 10 minutes later and it was at like 10% all of a sudden. And then by the time, just in the time it took me to unlock my phone and try to figure out why the battery was draining so fast, the battery died and my phone turned off and I couldn't get it back on for the rest of the hike. So unfortunately I did not get to record any video or take any pictures for like the last 2.5 miles of that trail, which is definitely a bummer. There was some cool stuff that I got to see. However, I did get to show you guys pretty much everything most of the stuff that there is to see on that hike. I did get to show you guys all those arches up to that point in the trail where the phone died. And also, if you remember from that last clip, when I was showing you guys the views from that overlook, there was 2 arches that you could see from up there. And the one on the left side of me was double O arch, and the one on the right side was private arch. So I did get to show you guys those technically, just not from up close. And then also I did get to show you guys the Dark Angel rock formation that was off in the distance as well. So once again, I do apologize. As a way to make up for it, I suppose, here is a great view of the Fiery Furnace. This is actually another really cool hike you can do. You can go back in there and there's all kinds of crazy stuff that you can do. It's a complete and total maze back in there, but you do have to have a permit. You can't hike back there without a permit. And of course, the stunningly beautiful Sal Mountains off in the distance, covered in snow. You can see, I believe that one right there, that's Mount Peel, I think that's how you say it, which is the tallest mountain in the La Salle's. Actually, sorry, that one, I don't think that one is Mount Peel. I think it's this one over here. But that one is 12,721 feet. So that is actually, believe it or not, the second tallest mountain range in the entire state of Utah. It's only exceeded by the Uintas. The Wasatch Mountain Range outside of Salt Lake actually doesn't have any peaks that reach, I don't believe there's any peaks in the Wasatch Range that go up to 12,000 feet. So this is the second tallest mountain range in Utah, and it's really cool because it just comes right up out of the desert like that. And it's a really cool like contrast of, you know, all this like red rock and you know, just open desert, and then off in the distance these spectacular looking snow-capped mountains. So anyway, I'm sorry I didn't get to show you guys the rest of the Devil's Garden Trail. I did end up just hiking up to the last couple of arches, and Double O Arch actually was really cool seeing that up close. That was probably my second favorite arch of the hike after landscape. And Private Arch was, it was okay. It wasn't anything special. It definitely wasn't my favorite or even top 5 of that hike, but it was still cool. It's an arch. How are you going to complain about a rock arch? But yeah, and then other than that, that primitive trail was pretty cool. It was definitely hard to follow in some sections. I would highly recommend, if you're hiking that primitive trail, just be careful and watch where you're going. There's a lot of false trails that people have created. Not many rock cairns or signs or anything to indicate where you should go. I took wrong turns so many times. I actually was getting really frustrated because I kept taking wrong turns, and I'm like, where the hell is the actual trail? But eventually I did find my way out of there and back to the trailhead. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, even though it did get cut a little shorter than I would have liked. And I hope I'm kind of making up for it by giving you this epic view of the Fiery Furnace and the Sal Mountains. But anyway, if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I will be posting more content soon, so look forward to that, and I'll see you guys on the next adventure.